City of Stevens Point Tourism Commission meeting, recorded April 28, 2022.
Right. All right. Call the April 28th, 2022 Tourism Commission meeting to order. Can you take roll, please?
O'Conick?
Here.
Disher?
Here.
Sedlak?
Here.
Wynn?
Here.
Schrader?
Here.
Item 2, approval of the December 15th, 2021 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Seeing none. Motion for approval? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, election of chairperson and vice chairperson. I guess, yeah, take care of this stuff. Anybody interested?
I think you're doing great. I think it should just stay right that way.
I would nominate John O'Connor.
I would second that.
Ron. All right, how about a vice chairperson? Who wants to?
Tom Schrader.
Whoa.
I second that.
All right. So I'll gladly accept the chairperson. Tom, vice chairperson?
The tough committee, Tom.
I guess.
Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Item number 4, Bucco Park Improvement Project application requesting $100,000. So
Can I ask a question?
yes.
I don't know if I should have brought it up during the minutes, but can we look at these? I have a question about these financials that we got.
It's included in the agenda item, so
Yeah,
we can.
we'll go.
Oh, okay.
So, we all, I guess it was back, December, we discussed this and we're asking for financials on this. So, just announce your name and let us know where you're, I guess, give us the highlights here.
All right. I'm Bobby Opiola. I'm on the board for the Stevens Point American Legion. And we're just trying to improve the park by getting new lights. As of right now, our lighting rating isn't up to the state standards. So we need improvement there. And also the poles are rotting away. They're getting worse, so we need new poles to go with these lights. So we're looking for a little help on getting this project done. The city offered to give a little bit of money. The Musco bid was $330,000. The city said they'd give us $50,000 towards the project. We're asking for $100,000 from you guys, hoping that the tournaments that we're gonna run with the new lighting will help generate money through the room tax. And the rest of the $180,000 will be the Legion Baseball Club. We will generate that money over the next 10 years to pay back the city the loan.
Okay,
Question.
yes.
I think it's a great project. I really do. I think it fits this committee. However, do you guys have a plan to raise 180 grand in the next 10 years? How do you plan on doing that? Usually when we get a proposal and people come in and say what they're going to share, they tell us how they're going to do that. Are you going to do that through advertising? Are you going to do that through, I don't know, how are you going to do it?
Sure. So basically what our account currently is at $50,000. Okay. Our concession stand annually makes between $20,000 to $28,000 a year. Our players' fees, we did up our players' fees to help offset this cost. They know that. We're doing extra fundraising to create the more money each year to pay our approximately $18,000. We are going to add extra signs on our outfield. And through the city, they asked us to get a 10-year commitment from these businesses that we're going to try to do also.
So when you say your concession stand does 28,000, is that your profit or is that your gross?
That's our gross.
Okay.
So our profit is right around the 12,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 10 or 12, yeah.
And then once we get state tournaments, we're going to try to bid a state tournament, try to get one every 5 years between Junior Legion, Legion, and those generate profits of about $20,000 a year.
Have you given any,
For each of those tournaments.
have you given any consideration to asking the other groups who use the park for baseball to join you in your fundraising efforts? Like Little League Baseball, chipping in some money. The next one that I'm gonna tell you is gonna be really tough. Maybe the high schools would like to chip in a couple of bucks, but that's kinda tough when they say, why should we do it? We're gonna play on it anyway. That's been their attitude as far as I'm concerned. But it's worthwhile asking. So just a piece of advice. I'd also tell you to go to CPIC, Community Parks Improvement. I'm not on that committee anymore, but I would think that that's a project that they would probably commit $25,000 to. I would also go, I'm just giving some advice, can I do that?
Mhm.
I would also go to the Convention and Visitors Bureau, because they also have a fund for projects that puts heads in beds. That's what our job is, people in hotels. So that 180 grand, if you play your cards right, you could probably reduce that to 100,000 without a problem.
Yeah, and I did think about that. We just need at least a starting point. It's hard for us, $180,000 is something that we can go to other places and try to generate that.
Yeah.
But without the $100,000 from you guys,
Oh,
It's gonna be
right, sure.
a huge project that'd take a lot more work.
Will this allow you to have more night games?
It would,
So
absolutely.
you'll be able to have more to have more teams, more things, which will increase based on the pricing that you're charging.
Correct, yes. So with the new lighting, we believe that we can get more tournaments. That's our goal, to run more tournaments, to use the lights more often, absolutely.
Okay.
Right now, we currently run 2 tournaments a year. SPIBA uses it for 1 tournament a year, and we're hoping to add an extra tournament a year, and then hopefully get a state tournament, like I said, every 5 years or so.
Yeah, I was wondering, how competitive is that to get a state tournament?
It's becoming easier nowadays, because a lot of these organizations don't own their fields or run their fields.
Okay,
So, it's becoming easier.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I guess
Yeah.
my question was just the financing, but
Yeah.
I think you're on top of it and have some plans.
So your project is just for the lighting right now?
Just for the lighting, yes.
Because in your proposal, they talked about some other stuff, but it's just lighting, all right.
Just lighting, yes.
All right, any other questions or comments?
Did you want to go?
Yeah, yeah, I guess.
So Comptroller Laddick had provided the financials for
Yeah.
the room tax, so in the packet. Comptroller wasn't able to be with us today, but essentially what you'll see here, if you go down, the good news is he said he's taking the weighted average of the third and fourth quarter from last year to make the prediction for this year, and you'll see that he's showing 94% is what he's looking for. Basically, room tax is showing a major rebound is what he's forecasting and what we've been observing. So that's really good news. You'll see in the middle of the page, it just kind of shows the breakdown here of the what he's projecting for 2022.
Yeah.
The largest number is probably your total year-end 22 balance is what you're going to see there after the commitments. At the bottom of the sheet, you will see all of the December pledges that the commission took action on incorporated. So you can see basically with the fire station, Gerke Field Turf, the athletic field, the Portage County Youth on Ice Zamboni. And to the right of that, you'll notice what years you are in each one of those pledges. So essentially, there's going to be one that'll be dropping off after next year, which is the Zamboni. The others do still have a number of years left. So the action before you, or the request here today, if it's approved, would be adding that $10,000 one down to the bottom of the page. But based on the balance right now, there's nothing that's saying that can't be done if the body or the commission here would so choose.
Do you have a more specific question, Mike? about the
Well, I had
financial?
a question on the budget that pertains to a different line in that, so maybe we could talk about,
Sure.
do his thing and then,
Come back to
and
it.
talk about that.
Okay, Thus, any other comments or questions about this? item?
I would move for approval of 100 grand over a 10-year period,
Any
10,000.
strings, as long as he comes up with it, or you're all right
Well,
with his
I'd
idea?
kind of like to get more information as you go along as to how you're going to raise that 180. I don't know that we need to attach that to it. Do you think we should?
I'll second the motion, so we move. I think the city finance committee will be asking that too.
Okay.
Because they'll have to bond for it, and they'll be asking the
So
questions.
you'll need to get some more information on where you're coming from. So if I were you, I'd get a request into the CVB and into the CPIC. I think Matt Disher is one you could contact that in the Convention and Visitors Bureau, you know where that is. They have forms to fill out.
I would also check with agreements to get signed too, because they
Yeah.
did that with Gerke. That the
Yep.
pledges are over 10 years, so.
Absolutely, and I did talk to Dan about that, and that's how we
They have a-
do.
I think the city has a form for that,
Yep,
right?
we have a subscription agreement for you.
Yep, we did talk about that, absolutely.
It's-
Yeah, and, I mean, we have a plan in place I'm not just gonna go and do this. We gotta make sure we're gonna our goal is to get everything committed by end of August, so then we can get things taken care of by the end of this year.
And so you know, in terms of the finance committee, that'll be coming this fall. So that's, if you're on that timeline, you're probably right in line with what the city will be asking as they're reviewing the capital budget.
Okay, good.
All right, any other questions? I guess we have a motion and a second, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I have a question.
You had a question? Yeah, go
I have a question and a comment. I can't resist. Under the projected revenues, I see that, the Riverfront Arts, I thought last year we requested a budget from the Riverfront Arts to people. And I think maybe it's time for us to look at the Willet also. I mean, as a committee, we have some sort of responsibility for where our money's going. And if we just brush that stuff off and say it's automatic, I just kind of like to see that we really need to spend $100,000 between the Willet and the Riverfront Arts. I'd like to see where so if we could request a budget, I'd like to see their financials. I mean, if they got a bunch of money in the bank, maybe they don't need our money anymore.
Yeah, that'd be great to see that, but keep in mind, when I was involved, this was the beginning, when they list the Willet, that's kind of, they put all the onus on the Willet.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, the city loses money doing ball diamonds and doing
No,
things. So
I-
maybe that category should just be parks improvements and park operations
Could
versus
be.
putting it all on the
Sure.
Willet or
Yeah,
the
but-
Riverfront Arts.
I'd still like to see some type
Sure.
of financials, and I'd like to, if we could figure out how many heads and beds. It has
Not-
always been a really, not the
I'm
parks
a-
part as much as the riverfront.
Yeah,
Two things here. Number one, these are already approved for 2022.
Right.
So
Yep.
we definitely can do that. Number two, this is not an agenda item. So we can definitely make the request, we'll get into it, but this can't be discussed because it's not on the agenda. So
Got it.
let's go back.
All right, any other
Last comment.
comment?
It is really, the city of Stevens Point is amazingly lucky to have groups like American Legion, Stevens Point Youth Baseball, the Softball Association, all those youth and adult programs that help fund projects like this. I don't know, back in when I say the old days, back in the 70s, 74, when we started the Softball Association, any project that we wanted to do and anybody else wanted to do was 50-50. We'd come into the city and say, we have this project for $50,000. They'd say, we'll do 25, you do 25. I know we don't do that anymore. Times have changed, but it's interesting to note that the city, when it comes to new projects, if it wasn't for those groups, our parks would look like crap. Our athletic facilities would be rotten because they always turn their nose up at projects like this. So if it wasn't for you guys at Bucco Park, and obviously the people who come stay in Stevens Point, those light poles might be falling down in 10 years. And that's, so just a comment that
No, well said.
But I'd like the city and the alderpersons to know, don't get me wrong, I'm not an anti-bike lane guy, but if we can spend a couple $100,000 on bike lanes, it would be nice to spend a couple $100,000 on park improvements.
All right, great. Item number 5, adjournment, motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.